The urinary system. So today class we're going to learn about the urinary system. So the urinary system maintains homeostasis, and homeostasis is maintaining the normal body functions of the body, keeping everything in check, everything functioning properly. And the urinary system does this in many different ways. First, it helps with the removal of urea, which is a nitrogenous waste from the bloodstream. Also, the urinary system controls the movement of water and salt. It helps balance the water and salt in the bloodstream. So it makes sure that there's not too much salt or too little water. Also, it's involved in blood pressure, making sure that your blood pressure is not too high and not low. So then the kidneys. The kidneys produce two important hormones, and those two hormones are EPO and calcitrol. And what do you think those two control? Well, obviously it's on the screen, and it controls blood pressure and volume. Blood pressure. So, renin is an enzyme released by the kidneys in response to a drop in blood pressure. Renin catalyzes the production of angiotensin, a hormone that causes arterioles to constrict, raising blood pressure. This also causes water retention. How does this maintain homeostasis of blood pressure? That's what I want you guys to think about. So another response to blood pressure when it is low is erythropoietin, which is just EPO. So erythropoietin travels to the bone marrow and stimulates the production of a new blood cells. So urea removal. Urea is urine. It's your pee. It's what comes out of your body. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. If you don't need them for building protein, then they can be metabolized for energy or broken apart, and the carbon chains used to make fat. As you can see right here is the carbon, and if that is no longer needed, then they'll just use it to make fat. You see, right here is the amino group. This is the side chain, carboxyl acid group. And to metabolize the amino acid, it requires you to remove the NH3. So NHH and another H, which is amine unit. So ammonia and urea. Ammonia is toxic and highly water soluble, which pretty much means that it dissolves in water. So you might have water with ammonia and not even be able to notice. The liver turns ammonia into urea. Like I said before, ammonia is very soluble. It dissolves quickly in water. They form a uniform mixture. And when it's no longer needed, the liver turns the ammonia into urea, which is your urine. And this is less toxic, and this is less soluble. As you can see here is how amino acids are broken up. In the first stage right here, in cells, amino acids are broken into simpler molecules, releasing ammonia. So it's because of the amino acids being broke down into smaller, particles, smaller molecules. It makes ammonia, and ammonia is NH3. So after that, the ammonia is carried in the blood and in the liver, ammonia is combined with CO2 to produce urea. So from urea, it's still carried into the blood, but this time it's in the kidneys. Urea and other water-soluble wastes are converted into urine. So besides toxicity, why is it advantageous for land animals to convert highly water-soluble ammonia into less soluble urea? What could be a health risk of going on an extremely high protein diet? Well, if you go on a high protein diet, there'll be more and more ammonia, and ammonia, is toxic. So the urinary system anatomy. So the main structure of the urinary system is the kidneys, as you can see right here and right here. Then it's the urethra, and then the bladder, and also the ureters, which are shown right here. So the anatomy of the kidney. So the main structures of the kidney are the renal cortex, the renal medulla, the renal pelvis, nephrons, and some other things. So the renal pelvis cuts away to show the path of the urine. Nephron is right here. Renal artery is this red, big, two look alike. And then here's the renal medulla, here's the renal pelvis, the cortex is right here. The urethra cut away to show path of urine, so bladder. Anatomy of the nephron. So the nephron, as you can see depicted right here, is made up of distal tubuli, loop of Henle, proximal tubuli, and glomerulus. Glomerulus. This is the only place in the system where the blood is actually filtered. Blood pressure is used to push plasma through capillary walls and into the Bowman's capsule. The first part of the phase is filtration. Water, nutrition, and waste are filtered from glomerular capillaries into Bowman's capsule of the nephron. Proximal tubule. Nutrients, salts, vitamins, etc. are moved out of the tubule through active transport. Water follows by the nutrients by osmosis. As you can see in the picture to your right. So the new loop of Henle. Tissue around the loop of Henle is salty from active transport and diffusion of sodium chloride. The salty conditions allow water to diffuse out of the loop is shown right here. A lot of water is going out, and more urea and less sodium is going in. So, active transport, distal tubule. Active transport is used to move nutrients out of the concentrated urine. Some ions, drugs, and toxins are actively pumped into the tubule. Collecting duct. More water leaves the tube by osmosis. Since the tube is surrounded by salty tissue, some urea leaves by diffusion and may be cycled through the system. As you can see here, the whole loop of Henle. So which of these amino acids in waiting room recovery from the filtrate? Which of these acids in water recovery from the thinness athlete? So that means you would activate transport of sodium out of the filtrate. Notice that sodium is actively recorded in the system, while potassium may be pumped out. A natural diet such as hunter-gatherers eat mostly eat fresh plant material supplied with lean meat, is low in sodium and high in potassium. How is the system adapted when eating a natural diet which is not okay, sorry about that. So, and is low in sodium and high in potassium. How is the system adaptive when eating a natural diet? Why does our salty, low vegetable American diet cause problems? Water regulation. So, antidiuretic hormone, also known as ADH or vasopressin, is part of a negative feedback system that regulates water in the mammillary body. ADH increases the permeability of the distal tubule, allowing greater water discovery. So as you can see here, this is a diagram. It starts off, heat causes water and loss of dihydration. Receptors in life, hypothalamus directs the low water content. Relax. And then the third is the posterior pituitary releases ADH into the bloodstream. And then 4, ADH increases the permeability of the distal tubule and the collecting duct, allowing more to be reabsorbed into the blood. Water is retained in the body and concentrated urine is produced. So this is pretty much how the urinary system works. Here you can see number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Okay, caffeine and alcohol are diuretics. Therefore, they're not good for you because they absorb water. Alcohol inhibits ADH release while caffeine interferes with its activity. Part of the symptoms of a hangover are due to dehydration, what causes it, and why is a cup of coffee not a good cure for a hangover. These are the type of questions that I want you to think about. So many over-the-counter herbal diet aids claim to detoxify the body or flush fat. Many of these contain dandelion leaves, parsley, or other herbs known to be diuretic. If a person tries these products and appears to lose pounds, what is actually sauce? Could there be health problems with using these problems? I want you to think about that as a class. And that is my project. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day. Internship, Chantley Thomas, June 13, 2013, Wednesday.